So I'm starting to record now. And in the chat, I am posting the interactive handout. This interactive handout will guide our session today. And so I would really encourage you to check out this handout, as well as I hope that this becomes a useful resource for you as we move forward. So in the chat, I am posting this now. Again, this will guide our session today. What this will see is some ideas for you to consider, use cases about how to use PlayPosit, as well as information for what we will do today in Canvas, where we will build a bulb starting from scratch in Canvas. If you have any questions today, we are a small group, so go ahead and feel free to stop me or to type those questions in the chat, but let's get started with our agenda. Again, my name is Angie Whalen. I'm an account manager working with the Tech Connect partnership and with you all. Here is our agenda for the day. We will focus and spend these first 10 to 15 minutes diving into the background knowledge of PlayPosit. What is PlayPosit? What is a bulb? I have highlighted some specific use cases that I would like to share with you all. And then, as I mentioned, we will build a bulb together in Canvas. Any questions that you have, please go ahead and type them in the chat or stop me and let me know what those questions are. So let's start with that background knowledge and really ground ourselves in what PlayPosit is. PlayPosit is an interactive video player. What that means is we sit as an overlay, which allows you, the instructors, to take your instructional content and put that content into our player and then add interactions on top of that video content. So then at any time you can go in and edit that content, add different interactions, but again, you will be taking your video content and putting it into the PlayPosit player and then adding those interactions. Our interactions stem from discussion forums to web embeds to multiple choice questions, and we will dive into all of your options today. When you put your video into our player, we start calling it a bulb. A bulb came from our co-founder students who, when they developed PlayPosit in their classroom, said it felt like a light bulb was going off in their mind when they were starting to use the platform. I actually found PlayPosit in my classroom, and our team is built by teachers and managed by teachers as well. So any questions or concerns you have, always feel free to reach out to us. But what I would like for you to do is take a sample PlayPosit bulb and experience PlayPosit from a student point of view. You can either scan the QR code that is on my screen, or you can access the bulb by the link that I am putting into the chat. This is just a really quick sample bulb, about 2 minutes long, that has multiple interactions. Again, you can scan this QR code and do this on your phone, or you can click on the link that I put in the chat. On my page, while you are taking this bulb, I will have the analytics screen up, and we will deep dive into the analytics that you will have access to. So I am going to mute myself for about 2 minutes, allow you to take this bulb, and then we will regroup. All right, so even if you haven't finished, that is okay. I just wanted you to get a quick taste of what this bulb experience looks like. If you want to minimize your screen and come back to my Zoom screen, we will talk about the analytics, as well as I want to address two things that are happening in the chat. Betsy asked that if you are here, if you could write your name in the chat so that they can have your name for the flex attendance. So if everyone could write their name in the chat, that would be great for Betsy, and I'll send that along to Betsy. I also am going to answer some questions Jessica had before we dive into the data that is on my screen. We do work on mobile phones, so your students, if you scan that QR code, you will work on, even with that Canvas Studio or the Canvas app. We are do have an integration with your videos where we're working on our Canvas Studio integration right now. And so that should be live in this next month. And then we are fully screen reader compatible. We will pull in transcripts for students, pull in your captions as well. And so we will dive into that when we get into the actual player. Jessica, if that answered your question. And thank you everyone for writing your names here. And Betsy, I will send you the transcript of the chat in my follow-up. So here on my screen is your deep dive into our analytics page. What you see is at the top are the interactions that I had placed in that sample bulb. So at the top here are the interactions. I can pull information from specific interaction data. If I want to see this check all question, I can pull these pre-populated charts that dive into the analytics on that check all question. And I can do the same for this multiple choice question at all and pull these charts for my benefit. You also have analytics on a whole bulb level. So I can see I need to go and grade my free response questions. I can see what students got correct and incorrect just at a quick glance. I can see students' average scores as well as bulb completion status. All of the analytics and the grades can be synced to your Canvas gradebook. We have a great integration with Canvas. And so for you, this gradebook will appear in Canvas, but you'll always have access to this here. Moving even further, I can pull some student reports. If I wanted to export a learner attempt in an interactive worksheet, I could do that for Trevor's attempt. I also can see how long it took students to view the bulb, as well as filter through completion status, who is still in progress, who has not completed the bulb, as well as if I want to change this answer, you put rain and sun, I want to give you that correct answer. I can simply click on this and change that point value, and then you see it went to green. So there's a lot of intricacies with the gradebook, but this is a great place for you to really access and deep dive into your students' experience in the bulb that they took. We will talk more about that gradebook, but again, here is that bulb from the student perspective. Remember, for students, this will appear for them in Canvas. This will appear for them where you link your assignment. You have some options for that, but today we will be talking about linking this bulb in Canvas. This is the bulb that you took as well, just from that student experience where they're watching the video, and then interactions appear. You, again, when we are building, will have all of the autonomy to create whatever interactions you want. There is no right or wrong way to use PlayPosit. As we are still in this first background building of PlayPosit, I do want you to know that we are grounded in these three relationships. Everything that we do on our development side, we try to touch the instructor to learner relationship, peer-to-peer relationship through our discussion forum, as well as learner to self relationship using our student notepad. I am quickly going to dive into each of these relationships before we touch on some of the use cases. One of the ways that we facilitate the instructor to learner relationship is through your ability to provide feedback. This feedback can be in the form of written feedback, like I hope you saw in that sample bulb, but it can also be in the form of jumping feedback. This student is going to submit the answer, they will retry, check the bottom of the screen. They were actually jumped backwards in the player and given another shot at watching the video content and only moving forward for mastery. This is a more advanced feature, but this is available to you to allow your students to retry multiple times, to give them really specific feedback that you decide what kind of feedback you want to give them. Again, we spoke and had that kind of deep dive into our analytics page, but remember, the most important things is that we will pull these pre-populated charts for you that will just give you some insight into how your students are attempting the bulb, as well as this will be synced for you in Canvas, and we will talk about how to create a graded assignment in your Canvas account. Again, this is just we're always working to improve this grade book. We are currently working on the ability for you to provide feedback on free response questions. This is showing a free response question with all of the responses in one page, which would allow you to quickly click through and provide your students with their scores. And as I mentioned, our developers are currently working on a way for you to give your students feedback based on that response. Really a quick touch into the instructor to learner relationship. I do want to dive into the peer-to-peer relationship, which we try to facilitate using our discussion forum. Our discussion interaction or discussion forum is completely optional, but this is a way for you to allow your students to talk to one another in a bulb in an asynchronous fashion. You see in this video, as a student is typing, the video paused, but your students have access to our rich text editor, which means they can insert graphs and images and even PDFs and files as they are talking to one another. I see a question in the chat that I'm going to jump over. I've had issues having the questions pop up exactly where I want them to the second. Any suggestions on what that might be happy? Great question. And I am going to show you how to pull an exact timestamp when we start building. That is a great, more advanced question. So thank you for asking that. And I'll show that live when we get into Canvas. This discussion forum, jumping back into this, can be moderated by you. So through Canvas, by pressing the preview button, which we will get to after you assign a bulb, you will be able to actually jump into your bulb. You can comment on the discussion. You can edit any student's responsive. If something was off track, you can delete that response. You'll also be able to search through student responses. I am looking for Tom Haverford's responses. Where did he write in this discussion? I can search for his name and see how he participated in my discussion. So again, this is an optional interaction, but we really hone in on this, especially during these times, to really facilitate a peer-to-peer interaction in an asynchronous assignment. And lastly, I want to touch on learner to self relationship. In every single bulb, your students are provided with a notepad. This notepad will automatically be available to them when you put your content into PlayPosit. This notepad is private between the instructor and the student, and it allows the student to take time-stamped notes and communicate with you, ask you questions in the notepad. Again, because they are typing, they have access to our rich text editor. When they are using the rich text editor, they will be able to, again, upload images, upload files, and really have a kind of in-depth conversation with you through that notepad. I have seen instructors use PlayPosit by just uploading their video and then assigning it so they have access to the monitoring page and their students are given a notepad. There is no right or wrong way to use this platform, and you can use it as advanced or as simply as you want. It is completely up to you. So again, those are the really quick relationships that we try to touch on. And I do want to let you know that there's different ways to deploy PlayPosit as well. Today, we will be focusing on the self-paced deployment method. That is, we are creating our bulb, we are assigning it through Canvas, and then we are monitoring those responses. But you can think about using PlayPosit in a broadcast mode or a classroom clicker response. You can also think about using PlayPosit for giving learner-created bulbs. Our learner-created bulbs would be, you would assign your students a learner-made bulb, and then they would actually jump into the PlayPosit designer and create their own video using all of our tools. That's really great for performance assessments. That's really great for anything where you want your students to have the ability to create their own lesson. But today we will be focusing on the self-paced deployment method. And so before we do that, again, I do apologize. We had a little bit of a late start, but it looks like we're back on track. We are going to spend the next 6 minutes diving into some use cases. These use cases are meant to give you an idea of how others have used the PlayPosit platform. So again, these use cases are just some ideas to spark some interest, and I hope you see something that you like and would maybe want to implement into your class. In the handout, again, I have linked other use cases for you to check out. I'm going to post this handout one more time in the chat for our new arrivals. And so again, everything that I'll be showcasing here, you can check out some ideas on your own in this handout after our session. But again, we have a few use cases I would like to showcase. The first being a very simple way to use the platform. This instructor has recorded herself writing out a chemistry problem, and then she has added one interaction, a multiple choice question, just to scaffold her instruction like she might in a live session and check her students' understanding. So again, it was just a recording of her working out this problem and then adding that multiple choice question. This is one of my favorite examples, and this example is going to show you different modalities of media being brought into one experience for your students. In this example, the instructor has brought in a narration of a YouTube video that is playing out loud for students and then has given a PDF of that poem. So students can listen to the poem and read through that poem, all while on the side unpacking the themes of that poem in a discussion forum together. So there really is, you can get as creative as you want with using PlayPosit. There are so many different ways to use this platform. I do want you to know that we are fully functional for your STEM courses. We have a LaTeX editor that is included in our rich text editor, so you can provide your students with an equation editor in every question, in every even feedback on answers. And because your students have access to our rich text editor, your students also have access to the equation editor, so they can also be writing these equations in their responses for you. And I will show you how to access that through our rich text editor when we start building our examples together. And lastly, I do want to touch on just providing your students with supplementary resources. And so in this example, you see no video, you see a Google Slides of a presentation that the instructor is giving this pre-lab work for and ensuring that students are coming to class or coming to your session prepared. You can give and scaffold that instruction again without this video content and having your PowerPoint slides or your text-based slides be your main source of content, as well as providing your students with supplementary resources. You can add PDFs, you can add websites, you can add functional spreadsheets for your students to be searching through. And so there are so many different things that you can apply and give to your students, all within a defragmented experience for them as they are watching your content. And so I really hope that you're not feeling overwhelmed about using PlayPosit. Again, we are just an interactive video player. There are multiple ways and no right or wrong way to use our player. Please check out that handout for other use cases, and hopefully we've sparked some interest for how we can use this player. And now we are going to spend the next 35 minutes actually building a bulb in Canvas and assigning this bulb to your learners. I am going to stop here and see if we have any questions about the background of PlayPosit or any of the use cases that I touched on. If you would feel more comfortable typing your question in the chat, you can do so, or asking me live, and then I will jump into my Canvas account. Do students need to make an account? Great question, Jessica. And so one of the great things about our Canvas integration is that it will be single sign-on for you, and your students will never need to make a PlayPosit account. For them, their experience will take place in Canvas as an embedded video in Canvas. They will never even know they are in the PlayPosit platform. For them, the bulb will just show up in Canvas. Also about our Canvas integration, it is auto sync for your course data. Again, we talked about the auto sync of those grades, but you also will always have access to that great monitoring page where you can see some really in-depth details about your students, as well as co-instructor collaboration, course copy, and we deep link. I'm going to answer Jessica's question. Do you build bulbs in Canvas or on the PlayPosit website? Jessica, you have both options, and we will talk about both as well. You will authenticate your account through Canvas, and then you will have a PlayPosit account that is associated with your email address. And if you would like to just sign on to playposit.com, you can do so. And I will show you how we do that. And so Julia has another great question about bringing in from Canvas Studio. And so again, we are working on our integration with Canvas Studio, and I will show you the, right now our 3C Media integration is up and live. And then Canvas Studio we are working on right now. Again, we will ensure that we let your admin know when that is up and working. But 3C Media, you can grab your videos from right now. And so this is our workflow, and this is exactly what I'm about to be doing for this next 30 minutes. Again, everything I am doing is in these step-by-step directions for you in this training checklist. If you would rather watch right now and then read about these quick start steps later, please do so. I'm also linking a tutorial here as well for you, so you have all of this information that you need. But we are going to first find our content. So we're going to take our video content. We will put that video content into our PlayPosit designer, and then we will add engagements through our interactions. Remember, everything about these interactions is optional. There's no right or wrong way to use the player. And so I keep asking these great questions, especially as I jump into Canvas, but we are going to build our bulb now for the remaining 30 minutes of our session. So I'm in my Canvas account. This is our demo test account, so it might look a little bit different than yours. But my very first step is I am going to go to my course. And so we will just access our demo course here. And so I will just press on the demo course and go to the course where I would like to assign this bulb. I do want you to know that you can assign a PlayPosit bulb in pages and in modules. But if you are looking for that grade passback and that syncing of grades, you will want to create an assignment like you normally would. So again, if you are looking for that grade passback, we will add an assignment. So first step, go to courses. Second step, add assignment. So I will press on the add assignment button. When I press on the add assignment button, you will be taken to your normal assignment page. This should look very familiar to you. If you are in your Canvas account now, you can actually be building alongside of me if you would like, if you feel more comfortable watching this recording later, or again, accessing those accounts, you can do so at your own discretion. And so again, courses, add assignment. If I am adding an assignment, I am going to give my test name. So I will call this my test assignment here. I also can then give my students directions. If I want to give them directions about the video lesson they are about to see, I can always provide my students with directions. Again, your students will never know they are in anything other than Canvas. For them, this bulb is going to be embedded for them right here. All they will do is press play, and then they will be able to take your lesson. For us on our building side, this is what it looks like. Assignment name, I'm giving the directions. I can adjust my points value. I can adjust my assignment grading here. And then my next step to access the PlayPosit player will be to scroll down to submission type. When I scroll down to submission type, by default, it should be labeled external tool. You just want to make sure that it's on external tool, and then all I will do is press find. I need to pull in the link for my students through PlayPosit. So I'll just go to submission type, external tool, and find. When I press find, the tools that are available to you will appear for this external tool. We just need to click on PlayPosit. Again, you will have one PlayPosit. This is our test environment, so there are a few, but all I will do now is press PlayPosit. When I press PlayPosit, I will be taken to a gray screen. This gray screen is going to say set link. That means I need to find my PlayPosit link of the assignment and give it to my students. To set this link, I will press enter PlayPosit or I will press set link. Both of these will take me to the same place, which is our PlayPosit homepage, I call it. I'll stop here and see if there are any questions about creating the Canvas assignment before I dive into PlayPosit. Okay. And so then this is how you would authenticate that account for you, and then your account will be generated and you can start building today if you wanted to. So again, I will press enter PlayPosit or set link. They will both take me to my home page, my bulbs page here. So what you will see here is that I'm still in Canvas, and here I have access to my PlayPosit homepage. This is the question that Jessica was asking. Do you need to build in Canvas or can you build at the PlayPosit site? Right now we're building in Canvas, but you have the ability to change your password here. So this is our test account, but if I clicked on my name right there, I can scroll down and then I can change my password and then log into playposit.com. So you will have the ability to do both, to build in playposit.com or to build in Canvas. It is up to your discretion. And I see that Betsy was clarifying as well that the Canvas Studio integration should be live and ready soon. And we will, again, Betsy, I'll make sure that our team lets you know that as well. Great. So I, again, am in my PlayPosit account. These are all of the bulbs that I have built or that have been shared with me that is linked to Canvas. If I had an assignment and I was ready to link that assignment now, all I would do is press on the Canvas icon and press set bulb link. And then I would be giving this assignment how to make a lettuce salad to my students if I set that bulb link. For today's demonstration, we will be building a bulb from scratch. In order to build a bulb from scratch, all you need to do is press add new bulb. So that will be our very first step, again, in my home page, to press add new bulb. We will be talking about some organizational capacity that you have, but if you are a brand new user and you want to check out some bulbs that have already been made in the Tech Connect community, your pre-made bulb library on your blue bar, this will showcase all of the bulbs that have been created and shared in the Tech Connect community. So yours will say Tech Connect Community District Media Library. You also have access to our All PlayPosit library, where there are over 1 million bulbs that have been created and shared. But here is a good place to look at other ideas of how people are using the player. You'll also have the ability to copy the bulb or to look at the worksheet. So again, before we build from scratch, I do want you to know that you don't have to start from scratch if you don't want to. You can check out that pre-made bulb library and view how other people in your community are using the player. But we will start from scratch. And so my first step will be to press add new bulb. When I press add new bulb, please take note that I'm going to be taken to a new tab. When I am taken to this new tab, it's just giving you more real estate to build. And so you'll just be taken, it's still connected to Canvas, you're still connected to your account. I'm just being given more space to build my bulb. I will press anywhere on this screen or press enter to enter my designer. So what you are about to see is our designer at its core. We are an interactive video player. So again, we need to start by uploading a video from our video source options. 3C Media is available to you. As Betsy mentioned, Canvas Studio will be available to you soon. And then you also have YouTube and Vimeo that you can search through. Unfortunately, I do not have a 3C Media account because I'm not part of the Tech Connect partnership. So I am going to be building in from YouTube, but this is where you will pull in these video sources. And so again, Canvas Studio is not available to you. 3C Media, YouTube, and Vimeo should be. Jessica, if you are talking about 3C Media, please let's talk to Betsy about that, or I can talk offline about how to connect that 3C Media account. And so from great question, Jill. So recording here in the player, this is an additional add-on as well as upload videos. So currently that is not available in your license, but I can provide your admin with more information about that if that's something that you would like to see. So right now, anything that's not grayed out for you would be your video source. As a step number one, I think PlayPosit does a good job of giving you step-by-step directions when we're in the player. Very first step is to add your video source. Second step will be to pull in your captions. And third step will be to trim and crop the video if you would like to. So let's start at step number one, pulling in my video source. I will press on YouTube. When I press YouTube, I am still in my PlayPosit designer, but I am able to search through YouTube fully. If I want to search for a crash course history video, which is just an educational video, I can just search and then it will allow me to search within YouTube without leaving PlayPosit. If you have a specific YouTube link or a specific Vimeo link, you can always input a URL. And again, here are my video sources. By just pressing on this orange box, I can see the video sources that are available to me. If I am picking this crash course history video, I can just pick the video that I want, and then I will be able to watch this video in its entirety. Again, within my player, I can change my mind and decide I want a different video source, but I can watch this video if I wanted to do so. I can also change the title of this video. I can also upload a new image from this video, and that's a great question. Closed captions are available in different languages if you are pulling your video in from Vimeo or YouTube, and there are those captions that are available. I'll show you that right now. So second step already ahead of me is to go to customize. When I press on customize, I'll be taken to my caption options. So I will do that now by pressing customize. When I press customize, I can still see step number one that's been completed with a check mark, but now I have the ability to pull in my captions. If you are bringing a video in from YouTube or from Vimeo, we will automatically pull those captions in for you. And then you'll have the ability to change the language if that is available on the YouTube captions. If you have VTT or SRT caption files, you can drag and drop those in as well from this captions section. And so again, we are screen reader compatible. Your students will have access to the captions as well as to a transcript. And then in this handout, I will put all of our accessibility information in this handout as well. That is linked to our knowledge base article if you have more specific questions. Great, so video source done. Step number two, done, because I have a YouTube video. Step number three is optional, but I want you to know that it exists. I can press customize to get to step number three, or I can just press number three. you have some light editing capabilities within PlayPosit. If there is a section of the video that I do not want included, I can just hover over this green flag and drag the flag and crop out sections of the video. If I want to do the same for the end, I'll hover over the red flag and then drag and cut out the other section of the video. That is optional and up to you. This is a 101 session, but I want again to bring to your attention, you always have advanced capabilities in everything you're doing in the designer. As an example, I'm in trim and crop, but if you see this advanced button, again, completely optional. If you're not ready to look at anything advanced, then just ignore me. But you can make internal crops for this video as well. I could drag this scrub bar at the bottom, and then if I wanted to make an internal crop, I could make an internal crop if necessary. I did just want you to know that you can do that. I encourage you always to just click on advanced and see what is available to you. That is step number 1. We have pulled in a video source, we have pulled in captions, and we have trimmed and cropped our video. Cynthia is bringing up another great point that students have to watch their video all the way to the end to trigger that grade pass back and to complete the bulb. And I'll share a student experience article with you as well. And so you do have that ability to just shorten your video or to crop out sections as well and trim and crop. Thank you, Cynthia, for bringing that up. But here are my 3 steps: video, captions, trim and crop. I am going to press done. When I press done, you will see my video load on the right-hand side and you'll see my video load on the left-hand side. So here is my video. I have the ability to add another video in line with my first video, and I would just follow that same workflow of grabbing my video source, captions, and trimming and cropping. For today, we will just be happy with one video and we will move on to step number 2. Again, we talked about using PlayPosit however you would like to use it. If you wanted to review and upload this video, it is now a bulb because it is in the player. This now has a notepad attached to it and you'll have access to our monitoring page. You could press review and skip step number 2 and press save and assign this to your students. Again, anything that you are doing in the player, there is no mandatory interactions that have to be added. If you want, for accountability purposes, you could press review and be done with the building of the bulb. If you are looking to add those interactions, you will press on the light bulb at the top by pressing interactions. So step number 2 after we add our video segment is to go to interactions. You will be brought to our template gallery. Our template gallery are content neutral whole bulb interactions that you can apply to your bulb in a single click. I used to use the checking for understanding template when I was building for my classroom, because then I would just edit these interactions and make them my own. But this checking for understanding template will add a question in the beginning, in the middle, and the end, and then I can edit those interactions or just leave them there. So again, I do encourage you to check out this template gallery. There are some really cool templates that you can provide to your students. I'll just showcase what that looks like of adding the template gallery. I'd like you to bring your attention to the bottom of my screen. There are no white dots at the bottom of my screen, but watch when I press apply. I'm applying this interaction, and now if you notice, I have little white dots, and these are my interactions. So that template gallery has provided me with content that I can then disseminate to my students. Again, these little dots on time are where those interactions appear. Oh, and great question, Jessica. Yes, you can modify those captions as well. Thank you, Betsy. And I'll send a knowledge-based article on how to do that. Great. So here again, I applied these template gallery questions, but if I would like to just edit this question, I pulled it in. This is what I used to do in my classroom. I would edit this question and make it my own. You have that capability to make edits to all of these template gallery questions that you added. But if you are looking to add your interaction from scratch, let's show you how to do that. My workflow would be just watching my video, dragging the scrub bar at the bottom, and then picking the point in time where I want my question to appear. This was a question that was asked earlier. How do I get that? I want it to happen right here at 57 seconds. How do I pull that exact timestamp? If you click on the time here, we can copy a precise timestamp into your clipboard. So I can copy that. You see that that exact timestamp has been copied to my clipboard, and I'll add that interaction with that precise timing and show you again how to do that. A very advanced feature, so thank you for bringing that up, but let's add our interaction here. So step number 1, I will press add interaction. When I press add interaction, I'm given all of your interaction options. Multiple choice, check all, fill in the blank, discussion, poll. These are all auto graded for you. Of course, free response is a manually graded question because you need to look at your students' responses. I think that pause and web embed are two overlooked interactions. And so I encourage you to play around with the possibilities of using a pause to provide information to your students, or using and pulling in another website that you want your students to search through. We also have templated interactions, so you can pull in a vocab matching, you can pull in a place and order, your call. Let's add a multiple choice question just so we can see the functionalities that you'll have at an individual level. I'll press multiple choice, and then again, I'm given some step-by-step directions. First, I need to write my question. When I start typing, I'm going to enter my question here. You see it's multiple choice. I have access to this rich text editor. I am going to ask, what color is his shirt? And I can customize this as I see fit. I can even format it. You could add a table. You could insert a link or a source code. I encourage you to play around with this powerful rich text editor that you will have access to every time you start typing. His shirt is green, his shirt is red. Again, I could attach a file, I could attach an image of the color red. I could add another answer, his shirt is yellow. And then I just need to pick my correct answer. Question, answer choices. I will just select green. There is my correct answer. I can press done and be completely done. Why can I press done and be done if I haven't done step 2 and step 3? Because step 2 and step 3 are done by default for you. My placement will always be in the sidebar, and my timing will be that timestamp that we grabbed and dropped the question to. I just want to show you how easy it is to make this question. Question, answer, done. There is my multiple choice question, a simple question, and I can move on and create another question if I wanted to. If you are looking to customize this further, let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to just press back on this interaction, and then we can make some edits to this question. Your edits being twofold. Again, all optional. You do not have to do this if you don't want to. I just want you to know that it is here. First, I can add feedback to my question. I could give my students feedback again in the form of a PDF, in the form of an image, just in the form of typing. So you can give your students feedback by just pressing add feedback. You also have your advanced capabilities. I told you to always press on advanced so you can see that you can randomize answer order. You can hide the correct answer if it wasn't selected. I could allow my students to try answering this more than one time. Again, this is more advanced. I don't want to overwhelm you, but I do want you to know that you have some advanced capabilities always by pressing on advanced. Let's go to step number 2. Step number 2 is placement. Step number 2 for placement, I can press here, again, optional. Your question will always appear on the sidebar, but if you are looking to make a point to your students, you can add this question over the whole video. You can adjust where this question will be. Always press advanced. You could change the transparency of this color. You can change the height. Again, advanced options are always available to you if you would like them. Now let's go to our timing so I can show you how to pull in that exact timestamp. Our question is taking place at this 57 seconds. It again is still up for me here at the bottom of my screen. So I can pull in this precise timestamp. Again, I'll copy it to my clipboard again, and I will just press advanced and then paste that exact timestamp into the video. So I hope that answered that original question about pulling in that precise timestamp. It's copied to my clipboard. If you would like to for timing, I could move this and adjust the timing if I wanted to. If I wanted to make this durational and have it live on my screen for 2 minutes, you can also make durational. Jill is asking a question, can the interaction locations be hidden to prevent students from fast forwarding the interaction point and missing the video? By default, yes. Students will never be able to fast forward and they will not see where these interactions appear. We can, at the little dots, your students will not see any dots at all. And Jill, I'll show what that looks like from the student perspective. There is my question. Question, answer, placement, and timing. I'm going to press done and see this advanced question live. I just want to show you how quickly I can make another question. 5 minutes and 15 seconds. I'm going to press add interaction. When I press add interaction, I'm given all of my interactions again. Let's give a free response question to my students where I can start typing respond to the prompt and then give my students a prompt. Again, press advanced if you want to. I'm not going to go to step number 2. I'm not going to go to step number 3 because by default, as we discussed, they are done for you. I am going to press done and have an interaction that was added. So again, this is as advanced or as simple as you want it to be. It is your discretion. Let's now be done with my interactions that are here. Again, if you would like to edit the interaction, you can edit it by pressing the triple dot menu. You can adjust point values, anything that you would like to do there. Step number 1, video done. Step number 2, interactions done. Step number 3, let's review this bulb. Here I can change the image, I can change the title, I can add a learning objective. You can add tags. You could start tagging this for your own organizational capacity. This is for my history class. This is standard 3.5. You can make your own organizational tagging system to share and collaborate your bulbs with. You can adjust playback options. As Jill was bringing up, students will never be able to fast forward by default. We'll never be able to skip interactions, but if you would like to change those playback options, you can. And then privacy, if you do not want your bulb to show up in that pre-made bulb library, you can by default make your bulbs private, or you could just share them with your own community. That is completely, again, your discretion. I am going to press save changes now. When I press save changes, you will see a green toast message appear in my right-hand side. This is telling me, great, your bulb has been updated. I want to show you what Jill just brought up. What do my students see when they watch this bulb? I always recommend pressing preview. When I press preview, I recommend this because then you can watch the video as your students would watch it. I can toggle the playback mode and watch this as a learner or watch this as an instructor. I wanted to show you the differences. I'm pressing play now. I'm going to press back on the settings wheel. I am watching this as an instructor. Here are my bulbs or my questions. I can fast forward. I can do what I need to do. Watch now when I'll turn the volume off. Watch now when I change this to a learner. All of those interactions disappear. I am not allowed to move the scrub bar. I have to press play and answer those interactions. Jessica and Cynthia, students can skip forward or go to timestamps in their notepad if they return to the video to review it after they watch and participate in the interactions fully the first time. You are correct. And your students will have a navigable transcript to do so. And they can have access to the printable report. And I'll show you how to do that, where it will be the step static version of the bulb. Jessica asked, just to clarify, I can put these into pages, but if I want to integrate with the gradebook, it must be an assignment. Yes, Jessica, you are correct. Great. So now I reviewed that bulb. Hopefully, Jill, that answered your questions about students not being able to see. That used to frustrate my students to no end. And so now we are going to go back to my designer. Again, if you're looking for that printable report, you can allow learners to view their printable report afterwards, and then they will be able to see this in that live PDF version of their worksheet, where they'll be able to see your interaction. So I always encourage you doing that as well. Save changes one more time. I'm going to be taken to, again, a blue screen. This blue screen is going to say, great, go back to your LMS, which for us is Canvas. I'll close this. You'll see this tab being closed. Now my bulb, this was our preview for students. Now my bulb is here for me back in this home, we're relinking this bulb now. So now I'm back in Canvas, and there is the bulb I just built live with you. My tag is history. If you would like to share this bulb, you can go to your triple dot menu, and I can collaborate and share this bulb with anyone in my institution being PlayPosit. And then I gave Brady editing access. I gave Brady facilitating access. And so this bulb just appeared in her library to link for her students or to collaborate with me on that bulb. Again, this tagging system you can completely filter through. If I wanted to look for all of my history tags, you could do so as well. That is your own organizational purposes. But let's finish up. And so all we have to do is one last step, set my bulb link. Remember, we were taken to that gray page where it said you need to set your bulb link. I'm going to do so now. All I will do is press on this triple dot menu, or to press on this Canvas icon. You also can go to the triple dot menu and then set the bulb link there. We are just assigning this now to my students. The learner experience is self-paced, which is what we wanted. I'm going to press link. Now I'm taken back to my external tool, Jessica, just where we were talking about. This is highlighted because my link has been selected. I will press yes, select, and there is the link. Remember when we first started, it was empty. There is my PlayPosit link. I'm going to scroll down and press save and be taken to another gray screen. This gray screen, instead of saying set link, it says manage link, meaning this link is now live for my students. I now have the ability to download a CSV file of the data after they've taken it. I can preview and jump into my student notepad by pressing preview, and I can monitor my analytics by pressing monitor. Now I'm easily taken to my PlayPosit gradebook, where then I can search through those grades that we talked about, download that CSV file. And again, I'm in my profile, but outside of Canvas, again, still linked to Canvas. That is the whole process of linking, building a bulb, linking that bulb in Canvas. Betsy is wrote something in the chat that would probably be beneficial for everyone. I am happy to stay on if you have time. I know we are right at time. If you have any questions or concerns that you would like to answer with me, I can stay on a little bit longer. Or Betsy, if you have anything to add.
No, thank you so much, Angie. And yeah, if you are interested at Woodland, if you want to have like a little group where we meet occasionally to help each other, that would be very fun. So just let me know.
Yeah, and I'd also, Betsy, like to just announce to the group that you are all invited to our webinar series. And we actually have some really great webinars coming up, an advanced feature webinar, a app smashing webinar, where we're going to talk about putting other apps into PlayPosit. And so Betsy, in my follow-up, I will send you the webinar link, and then you can just register for those webinars.
Great, thank you.
Any questions? I know that we're right at time, but I can answer any questions if anyone has any, or if you need to go, I'll send the recording and then the follow-up, including the training handout to you as well, Betsy.
So I have a question. So I teach a lab class, and I don't want to like put all these points, right? To like part of their pre-lab is that they're supposed to watch these videos and do a pre-lab. But is there a way then, I mean, to do those interactions, but not have them worth points, but that I can see they actually watched the video and that they interacted with the video?
Of course. Yeah. So let's go in and edit that bulb I just made just to show you, as well as you can link an ungraded assignment into Canvas too. But let's go back to this video that I just had if you have a second, and I can go to actions and then I can press edit and then we'll edit that bulb that I just made. And all I need to do is you can adjust all the points so there's 0 points. And then this will just update for students all as 0 points. You'll be able to access that grade book again by just pressing monitor. And through Canvas, there are steps in this handout to do this as well, but you can assign a non-graded assignment. So that might be helpful for you in for this lab course. And so all you're going to do to assign a non-graded assignment is follow that same process by pressing add assignment. And then you'll do your same like we did, right? We created our name, we gave directions, and then you'll access PlayPosit through, they changed this grade, but you'll access through PlayPosit through apps. And then when I press on PlayPosit, I'll be taken to the gray screen. Ours is not live right now, but this would say a gray screen, like we said, the set link, but it'll have a grade warning of grade passback is not supported. So if you are looking to give a PlayPosit assignment that's ungraded, just go to your apps in the rich text editor. Remember, if you're looking for that graded assignment, go down to external tool, if that answered your question.
Yeah, it did. Could you just not like under the points, could you just put 0 points?
Huh? Yeah.
And then it work through the same way? Okay.
Yep. Awesome. So I guess 3 ways to do that. Ungraded assignment, 0 points, and then in the PlayPosit bulb, making everything 0. Good question. Great. Any other questions that I can help with? Awesome. Well, please feel free to reach out to, my name is Angie, and Emily and I are also a part of this partnership. I'll put our emails here, but you can always feel free to reach out to us, reach out to Tech Connect. We are all here to support you. I'm really looking forward to what you are building, as well as expect that follow-up from me and from your admin, which will have the recording as well as the more information just about some other things you can do with PlayPosit and the webinar series.
Thank you, Angie. It's great.
Of course. Thank you all so much. Have a great weekend. It's Friday. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Cindy, can I give you a call real quick? Or yeah, okay. Because I just want to with the flex stuff. Okay, great.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Bye. And then,
Bye-bye.
Betsy, I'll send you the transcript. Everybody wrote their names, so I'll send you the transcript of the chat. So that way you have everybody's names.
Thank you so much.
Of course. Bye.
Bye-bye.